Welcome, AP seminar teachers. You've made it to Unit 3. This is the moment we've all been working towards. It's time for Performance Task 1, where your students really get to step into the spotlight and show off all the skills they've been honing all year long. So think of this as your official playbook for success.
Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to break our playbook down into 5 key sections. First, we'll talk about the overall game plan. Then, we'll get into the individual drills, and after that, the team play. From there, we'll really define your coaching strategy, and finally, we'll wrap up with a little post-game analysis on scoring and submission.
All right, first things first. Let's set the stage. What exactly is Performance Task 1 and, why is it such a big deal in this course? Understanding its weight and how it's structured is absolutely the first step to guiding your students to a win. 20%. That's what PT1 is worth. It accounts for a full 20% of a student's final AP score. So yeah, this isn't just another assignment. It's a huge component that can really move the needle on their final result. It's crucially bring their A game. So, the task is split into 2 parts that are distinct but totally connected. You've got the individual research report, or IRR. That's where students go deep and build their foundational knowledge. Then, they take that knowledge into the team multimedia presentation, the TMP, where they have to synthesize everything in a real-world collaborative scenario. It's a fantastic mix of individual work and team synergy.
So let's zoom in on those individual drills, the individual research report. This is where each student really gets to become the expert in their little corner of the topic. We'll also cover the new mandatory checkpoints you'll have to manage to make sure everything's authentic. The IRR is essentially a 1,200-word deep dive. Each student picks up a specific lens, economic, ethical, historical, whatever fits, and they apply it to their team's big research question. Their job is to dig in, research like crazy, and build a solid argument from that unique point of view. Now listen up, because this is a really big change this year. We've got new required checkpoints. With all the AI tools out there, we need to be sure students are genuinely doing the work. So for checkpoint #1, you have to review their source log and then have a quick one-on-one chat with them about their whole research process. And here's the standard you're shooting for in that conversation. The student needs to do more than just read their notes back to you, right? They need to be able to talk about their thinking, why they chose certain sources, and really show you that they've grappled with the material themselves. Okay, let's shift gears to the team play. After all that individual work, students have to bring their research together for the team multimedia presentation and, of course, the individual oral defense that comes right after. The TMP is where it all comes together. The teams have to weave their individual threads of research into one cohesive 8 to 10-minute presentation that actually proposes a solution. A little pro tip, map out your presentation schedule early, especially if you have big classes. And trust me, have your teams create contracts at the start. It can save you so many headaches down the road. And hey, you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. Your AP seminar resources are packed with amazing tools, like these tip sheets for nailing oral delivery and designing great multimedia. Use these templates, use the graphic organizers. They're all there to help your students structure their arguments and build a presentation that really shines. Right after the TMP, you've got the oral defense, and this part is scored individually. Each student gets one unique question to really see if they understood the whole collaborative process. A fantastic strategy here is to have teammates practice asking each other these kinds of questions. That way, they're ready to really reflect on their group's journey. So, with all of this happening, what is your role? Well, you're not the director of the play. You're the coach on the sidelines. Let's get really clear on the do's and don'ts so you can guide your students effectively while keeping the assessment's integrity intact. This chart is basically your Bible. For example, providing guidelines for peer review means you give them a rubric or some sentence starters. It does not mean you point out their typos. Or suggesting resource types means saying something like, have you checked out any academic databases? Not, here's the perfect article you should use. Your job is to facilitate, never to direct. Okay, and this is a really, really crucial point. While you absolutely cannot put a grade on the final IRR or the TMP, you absolutely can and probably should grade the process. You can assign points for things like completing outlines, annotated bibliographies, formal peer reviews, even self-reflections on their group work. This keeps them accountable every step of the way without touching the final assessment. All right, the final whistle's about to blow. Let's talk post-game analysis. We're going to cover those critical admin steps you need to take in the AP Digital portfolio to get everything finalized and wrap up PT1 for good.
Go ahead and pull out your calendar right now because these two dates are non-negotiable. Students have to get their final IRRs uploaded to the digital portfolio by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on April 30th. Then you, the teacher, have until May 10th to enter all your TMP scores and, this is huge, complete the new attestations. This is that new critical step in the process. For every single student, you will have to log into the AP Digital portfolio and formally attest that, yes, they completed that checkpoint #1 conversation and that, to the best of your knowledge, the IRR they submitted is their own authentic work. And I need to be really clear about this. There is no ambiguity here. If you miss that May 10th deadline and don't complete the attestations for a student, they will get a 0 on their individual research report. Period. This final step is absolutely vital for your students' scores. So there you have it. With this playbook in hand, you are ready to guide your students through one of the most rewarding parts of the entire AP seminar course. Remember, this isn't just another assessment. It's a showcase. So the only question left is, how will you empower your students to make this their victory lap?